Greetings, travelers and beautiful spirits. Welcome to my Grief Alchemy Unleash Your Sacred Rage podcast series. It is an honor to have you all here, tuned in and listening, holding space for me. I'll start off by introducing myself. My name is Kealani, and I go by the Wolf Moon Mystic, a certified spiritual life coach and creative mentor. I started my business in Spokane, Washington back in June of 2022, and most of you know me as a spiritual medium and intuitive artist. However, I've been on a journey of inner healing, self-discovery, evolution, and expansion. So, why am I here sharing this with you all? Well, I'm here to speak to the wounded warriors and cycle breakers, the ones seeking liberation and the reclamation of their inner peace and sovereignty, to be a light for those at a crossroads with grief, lost in the forest of their own dark shadows. Sometimes the universe, Great Spirit, God, Goddess, what have you, puts people on our path to help reignite our flame and hype us up when we feel lost. My mission for these past few years has been to empower others to embrace their inner duality, their light and shadow, to find balance and harmony of their inner divine masculine and divine feminine. And no, I'm not talking about the typical societal gender roles, but to embrace these aspects with unconditional love, compassion, and radical acceptance, so that they feel confident to take the lead in their own inner healing journey and step with the divine power of their authenticity. With this podcast, I will be sharing my testimony and inner reflections woven from old pieces of writing and audio, my intuitive poetry, sacred storytelling, spiritual studies, adventures, and overall messages to the collective that I have channeled from the divine. As a disclaimer, I am not here to be your savior or claim that I have the ability to heal you. I'm not a licensed therapist or hold any legal or health licenses. You always have the power of free will to make the best decisions for your life. So take what resonates and leave the rest. I am not here to debate or argue, just share my perspectives based on the life I've lived and the journey I've walked the past 30 years. Some of the content and stories I will be sharing may be triggering and contain stories of DV, SA, and unaliving. Please take care of yourself as these very personal stories come up and are shared with you all. Breathe, pause, drink some water, ground yourself, take a break. If you have to skip to the next episode or completely just tune out of the podcast, I completely understand, and quite frankly, won't know if you did or not. Some of the stories and pieces of writing are those that I vowed to never share with anyone. And I know it's not for everyone or where everyone's at right now. But it is my story nonetheless. I can't change it. I've learned a lot since my spiritual awakening back in March of 2020, when the world went crazy a little bit and we were all in quarantine. Wasn't that an interesting time? Even in the spiritual community, I found that it's a slippery slope to dogmatic belief systems and this hierarchy of frequency of just positive vibes and love and light. But as someone who has walked through fucking hell, it takes a whole lot of darkness to truly appreciate the light, to learn how to hold it gently. I can't save you or heal you. I can't predict the future, even as a channel and medium for the hidden realms. What I can give you is my personal testimony. I can't save you or heal you. I can't predict the future, even as a channel and medium for the hidden realms. What I can give you is my personal testimony. In a world full of greed, competition, scarcity mindset, and envy, the one thing that no one can fucking take from us is our story. That's something that no one can change. except you, because I believe wholeheartedly that we create our own destiny based on our choices. My hope is that in sharing my real, raw, unfiltered, and untamed wisdom of lived experience, spiritual studies, and adventures, is that you will have the courage to save yourself and know that you're worth the time it takes to live the life that you truly want, that anything is possible. I saw this video on TikTok recently where young blood was speaking to one of his fans who had told him that he had inspired her and asked him what she should do if she wants to expand her music career with absolutely no resources to start with. What he told her hit something very real within me. He said, open up your phone and tell the fucking truth. Be fucking real, and the right people will come. That's a short version of that, at least. It made me think of growing up in the hood back in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I've sat with people from many different walks of life, some who had done things that they weren't proud of. If there's one thing I know about where I come from and the people I grew up around, they don't give a fuck about your piece of paper or what you think you know. They want to feel something that's real. Be truly seen and held for once in their fucking life in a world that tells them they aren't worth more than the choices they've made. I remember my uncle and stepdad recording their first demo. My uncle was a singer. He could sound just like Lane Staley and Jonathan Davis. And my dad was a really good guitar player, jack of all trades, both of them. We didn't have a whole lot of money or resources, and they were using a 5-gallon bucket and a shower with an old computer microphone. My dad sat there playing his guitar while my uncle held the microphone to the guitar next to the bucket. I guess it was to like make some echo, or you'd call it reverb. I don't know if that's the right term. But you just made it work. You used what you had. And I think that's where some of the best stories are created, honestly. It's raw and it's real. So with that said, I don't have all of the resources for this. Quite frankly, my audio editing skills are a bit rusty since high school. I can't promise you perfect, but I can promise you something real. Something from the heart that I've been aching to share. So I'm just going to do it with my voice shaking and with the resources and tools that I got until we make it. So here I am, sharing my truth, my testimony. Growing up, a valuable piece of wisdom I received, from my mother no doubt, was when she used to be a house manager for high crisis individuals. She told me, a true leader will never be afraid to get their hands dirty with their team. Don't ever ask somebody to do something you wouldn't do yourself. I never forgot that. As a mother, spiritual leader, an artist, a creator, a businesswoman, I'm still very much a spiritual being living a human experience. As an advocate for humanity and world peace, change starts from within in order to create the external shift, ripple effect that we all wish to see happen in the world around us. You can only take others as far as you've went yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. And if I sit here and claim that my values lie in gratitude, respect, honor, integrity, honesty, transparency, and humility, well, I better come correct and be about something fucking real. So with that said, here's my messy truth. I am currently sitting here, a single mother of 3 beautiful goddesses, in a domestic violence shelter, where I've been for the past couple of months. I left a toxic marriage back in November of 2024 when I took the leap of faith, going through a series of rigorous tower moments. April of 2025, I heeded the call to burn it all down to the fucking ground. I had $100 in my pocket and my 3 daughters. I had the help of some wonderful friends, especially one in particular, my grounding force, my Aries bestie. You know who you are. and I followed my intuition. I called out to Great Spirit, my guides, my divine counterpart, my true wolf, and no, not my twin flame, I'll explain that later, to lead us to peace, to show us the way. And I surrendered to the journey. I was on the road for a total of 5 weeks, exhausted, shaken, holding on by a thread, before I found a little piece of sanctuary to rest for a little while. This is honestly the most peaceful I have ever felt in my entire life, despite it being an uncomfortable crossroads, an in-between phase that's about to come to an end in 3 weeks. And I'm honestly just trusting my intuition and following my inner compass at this point. As many healers who have walked this path know, peace can bring forth a lot of lonely, sleepless nights where you have nothing more than your thoughts and the ghosts of your past to deal with. I have cried so fucking much. Fell apart, rested, come back to life, just do it all over again. But I have no regrets. I am truly free. Trusting myself and my intuition was the best thing that I ever did. To finally set myself free, my ancestors free, break the cycle for good this time, and heal my legacy. I can hear, see, think, and feel clearly again, shutting out the noise and minimizing opinions to come back to myself, be my best friend again. Sometimes as adults, we just gotta put ourselves in our own timeout. It has been a very humbling experience, learning how to feel with my eyes and see with my heart, to walk in faith and not in fear. Another raw truth, I am recording this episode on the anniversary of my uncle's death. He was shot and killed July of 2019 back in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We were actually from Spokane, Washington. I was born there, but we moved down there and I was raised there from the time that I was 6 years old. If you've been with me since the start of my business in Spokane, then you know that I, as the founder and visionary of Creative Healers Community, which is now just Mystics for Humanity and World Peace, we launched our first event back in October of 2024. Yeah, well, funny story, not so funny. The first event I ever planned and managed in my entire life was my uncle's funeral. Imagine that. Finding a calling in the midst of all the chaos. Anyway, I watched my family fall apart. I'll talk more about that as the episodes go on. Not that we were all doing so well to begin with, and it was like I was the only one left standing. But nevertheless, I have a promise I made to my uncle that I vowed to keep. So launching this episode today is me following through after all of these years. So what's in it for you all? What can you expect to get out of all this? Well, you're going to get my raw and unfiltered truth. I'm not here to adhere to the laws of what professional businesswomen should look like. I'm not going to sugarcoat shit, and I'll take accountability where it's due. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to be as transparent as I possibly can while trying to respect where I come from, and whether or not I'm still in contact with certain people, respect them as well. I'm going to take you through my process of grief alchemy. This podcast is the root for the book I am currently writing and the program that I have been working on for the past few years. It's been my little passion project. This book and program that I'll be launching will explain the sacred blueprint and intention behind everything that I do. Even if it seems messy, as grief isn't linear, you'll hear reflections pertaining to the inner child, inner teen, and young adult. I'll share old pieces of writing and maybe I'll trail off because, my ADHD neurodivergent brain, it has a tendency to go and flow. But even with that, everything I do is absolutely on purpose, and you'll understand that more later on as you get to know me if you stick around, which I hope you do. But overall, Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for trusting me and for holding space. It is an honor to walk alongside the wounded warriors, the shapeshifters, the cycle breakers, the dark knights, the star seeds, earth angels, creatives, mystics, visionaries, and entrepreneurs. I want you to know that I see you. I hold a special place in my heart for you all. I know how lonely this journey gets as a healer, and I hope this helps you feel seen and held in a world that measures you by productivity. You're worth more than survival, and I love you all unconditionally. We're in this together.